Girl, it does not matter how much you love that man. It does not matter if you have been the best partner, the best girlfriend, the best wife ever. It doesn't matter. If that man hates himself or does not like himself, there is no amount of love that you can give. And that's a really hard lesson. You will give all of yourself and you will lose yourself. Don't do it. I love you.
This is the script some women often use when they leave a man and believe they'll find something better. From the very beginning, they start pointing out supposed flaws in him to justify their decision. Until months later, he's living his best life, and that entire narrative falls apart. This is how the story of those women who left their partners believing life would be better on the other side begins to crumble. Before we get started, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. It helps us out a lot. Let's get started.
I have a theory about relationships after watching this video of this person that was like, wow, you guys almost watched me all get married. Haha, now I'm back living in an apartment with my cat. And I just have to say that you, as a woman in your 20s, either get married in your early 20s, right? And maybe you'll get divorced in your 30s. Maybe you'll just like deal with it and do that. Or you date someone into your late 20s. I'm 27. And you go back to square one. You go back to square one. You break up with that person, the person you thought you were going to get married to, and all of that jazz. And you just start over, all over again. But now you have the wisdom of someone in their late 20s instead of the delusion of someone in their early 20s. Because I'm not making a comment about getting married in your early 20s. I am simply speaking from experience. Your girl in her early 20s was delusional. I was delusional. So, you know, you go one or two paths.
I left a 12-year relationship this past week and it has been absolutely awful. Honestly, probably one of the worst weeks of my life. There's one thing that I've learned from this whole thing. Never, ever, ever, ever love anyone, not a man, nobody that you're in a relationship with more than you love yourself. This whole thing for me has been really eye-opening because I feel like I betrayed myself because my happiness, my feelings came last, even to myself. You find yourself having to compromise on the things that you want and desire out of a partnership, out of a relationship, because they're acting like you're asking for so much. Red flag. You know the movie The Breakup where she's like, it's not about the lemons or it's not about the dishes. I don't want to have to ask you to do the dishes. I want you to want to do the dishes. Like, I don't want to have to ask you to care. The minute you start having to ask someone to care or to show you that they care, it's done. I wish I had been more honest with myself about that because I held on for years, 12 years. But my love for him was stronger than my love for myself. So I held on and I accepted it. No, I'll be okay and I'm gonna come out on the other side. But right now I am in the trenches. If you've been in a breakup like that, you know it's like you don't even want to get up. I'd rather spend my life alone and at peace than to be with someone and still feel alone. If you're watching this and you can relate, listen to your gut and choose yourself.
This is gonna change your life. I went through a breakup about a week ago. I can't even remember anymore. I don't know, like a week ago probably. And the old me who was anxiously attached would have been like, he needs to call me, he needs to text me, my life is over. But now I say to myself, oh, that's all the closure I need. You can't show up for me? That's the closure that I needed. You can't figure it out with me? That's the closure I needed. And the worst part of it all is you're willing to let me go. Ew, ew, ew. You don't have foresight. That's lacking intelligence. You're willing to let me slip through your fingers. Turned off. That is the closure. I am done. And then I remind myself, oh my God, oh my God. Now I'm one step closer to divine union. I'm one step closer to my husband. I'm one step closer to that which is actually mine. Because we know if something's ours, it's not going to leave. It stays in our reality. You can't lose what is yours. You only release what is not. So anytime I go through a breakup, I just get excited because now I'm one step closer on the yellow brick road to divine union. What a beautiful, exciting, glorious day to be me. And you, if you went through a breakup.
My male coworker at Applebee's has a crush on me, and he just sent me a message overnight that said, miss you, with a sad face. So these are the things that I want to reply. Desperate. Or ew in lowercase letters. If you have any other ideas, let me know. Right now, I just left him on.
Or, hear me out, you could just respectfully reject him and not be a bad person.
She said it herself, without even realizing it. She just described the wall in her own words. She spent her 20s believing she had time, that there would always be something better waiting for her, that she could let go of what she had and start over without paying a price. And now she's alone with her cat, starting from scratch, at the tail end of the best decade of her life. You've reached the wall. The problem wasn't him. The problem was the belief that she could always trade up. That's the trap of the carousel. It convinces you that the next one will always be better, until one day you look back and realize there's nobody left in line.
If you want a guy to do nice things for you, let me give you a little bit of advice of what not to do. For the younger ladies, when I moved in with my ex-husband, he came home from work one evening with a dozen red roses. And instead of being like, wow, how amazing, that's so sweet, there was no reason. He was just being really sweet. And my asshole self reacted with, why'd you get me red roses? You know I don't like roses. Peonies are my favorite flower. Lo and behold, he never got me flowers again, and rightfully so. If you want a guy to do nice things for you, and even if you receive something that is not your taste, you don't like it, he should know that you don't prefer those. Encourage him, act gracious and grateful. You can make soft suggestions of things that you like over time, but don't do that. Don't do that. You'll never get that thing again.
100%. This is what I've been saying, ladies. If you fail to appreciate because you have these expectations that that man doesn't perfectly match, you are going to drive him towards not wanting to have a relationship with you. And that can upset you all you want. And you can even make videos all over social media about how all men are terrible. But the bottom line is that that doesn't change the reality. The reality being is that men want respect and they want appreciation. And if you can't personally give that to them, to the man that you're in a relationship with, you are going to destroy that relationship. Your non-appreciation or your judgment or your expectations that you're placing on him is not going to effectively change him. You don't need to teach him how to be better because that is all subjective anyways. Instead, be a good partner to that man and actually give him some things that he needs, just like he's giving things that you need to you. Otherwise, what is the point?
Stop it. Get some help.
So I spoke with my ex last week after going no contact for 4 months, and I thought I would never, ever speak to this guy again because our relationship was really unhealthy and quite toxic, and one of the worst relationships I've ever had. And I know that he's okay with me sharing some of this information. But the conversation was actually really healing for me because as I stepped away from the relationship, we definitely were trauma bonded. I've never had a worse breakup in my life where I felt like I just was actually not going to survive, and I fell into the deepest, darkest depression. And as time goes on, you break that addiction to one another, and having to be able to speak to him again, I would feel so anxious even the thought of it. But when I did speak with him, because of a lot of those emotions where I felt a little bit detached, I was really able to see the situation for what it was. So my number one question to him was like, why? Because that's what I've been trying to work out for the longest time after the relationship ended. Like, why did he do what he did? So it'd be like 2 weeks of him treating me lovely, and then there'd be a blow up and just like such unnecessary, extreme and unhinged things that he would do. And I really had to sit with why I stayed. And I think I stayed because I was in a very vulnerable situation in my life, and also I was truly addicted to him. I've never experienced, I don't think, a trauma bond to that degree before. This is why people stay in abusive relationships, because you get addicted to the person. He was really good and was pretty honest and just said, I'm just wasn't able to show up for you because I'm not even able to show up for myself. And I said, why didn't you just let me go? Because you would come back and you would promise, I'm going to fix it, that's never going to happen again, and you would hurt me even worse and worse and worse. And it just spiraled to the point where I had to walk away because it was just not great. And he would have continued that relationship and not had let me go. And his answer was that he wanted to hold on to me and was really delusional in lying to himself more than anything that he could fix this, but knowing deep down that he couldn't. The biggest lesson that I learned from that relationship is like, sometimes we stay in situations thinking that they're going to change, and they just don't. Can't change people. And no matter how much I tried to prove my love or my worth to him or tried to help him, I felt like I was his mother in the end. It made him more resentful of me, and then I became more resentful of him, and it just created this horrid tension between the two of us, and you got two people essentially hurting each other, and we should have just walked away. That was the most loving thing to do. But if you're going through a relationship at the moment, or you're trying to make something work and it's just not working, the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself, because you only end up hurting yourself and that person.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
The first woman admits it without even realizing it. She destroyed the gesture. She turned it into a problem. That's what constant criticism does in a relationship. It shuts a man down. Not all at once, little by little, until he stops trying. Why put in the effort when the result is always another complaint? And pay attention, gentlemen. This doesn't just happen with flowers. It happens with everything. Now, the second woman. For months of no contact, and the moment she sees he's doing fine, she needs to talk. She needs to know why. She needs closure. Do you know what that really means? She can't stand seeing him move forward without her. And of course, in the video, he's painted as the bad guy, the unstable one, the toxic one. Very convenient. Gentlemen, no contact isn't revenge. It's medicine. It's the one language the female ego can't ignore. A man who disappears and improves himself is more powerful than any argument. Don't explain. Don't justify. Disappear and level up.
Women.
So here is the biggest lesson I learned after getting out of a 5-year relationship late last year. I learned to stop pointing the finger at the other person and start pointing it to myself. And what I mean by that is, instead of asking, why did they do this? How could they do this? I asked myself, what wounds in me allowed me to be treated this way? What do I have to work on in myself where my self-worth was so low I stayed in a relationship like that? Also, what toxic behaviors do I have that contributed to that unhealthy relationship? Because it's so easy to paint yourself as the angel and just point the finger at the other person like they're the complete villain. That is just so unproductive, and you do not grow that way. In my healing, I've done the most growth and gained the most confidence when I started putting the mirror at myself and seeing what the heck was wrong with me instead of focusing on the other person. The confidence that I've built from improving myself, working on myself, even if it was someone that did you dirty, even if it was someone that hurt you, let yourself be upset and be sad and mad, but eventually point the finger away from them and start pointing at yourself and put in the work so that you never go through that again. I believe in you, you got this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
I don't think there's anything more iconic and attractive than someone that uses their breakup as this fierce motivation. They're literally like, fine, I'll just become the hottest and happiest version of myself then. And of course, the only way to truly and genuinely get there is to process all your feelings first. But that is the kind of energy where you turn your pain into purpose and you turn your heartbreak into this raw power. Honestly, you refuse to stay down because you realize that you're so done playing small in this world. You're so done proving yourself to others because you're so busy trying to prove yourself to yourself, proving that you can rebuild and that you can rise and that you can thrive and that you can actually glow brighter than you ever have before, even after heartbreak. I genuinely can't think of something more empowering than going through life knowing that you can go through something so profoundly painful and yet still somehow create something beautiful out of it. So go have the most incredible love affair with yourself. Go and become the version of you that you know is going to make your younger self so proud, because they are watching you right now and they're waiting to see what the next step is going to be. So I think you should show them that nothing in this world, not even heartbreak, can dim your light. I love you. You should be flattered by your heartbreak, and I'm going to tell you why. Because when everything starts to crumble around you, that is the universe stepping in and saying, you deserve more. I'm going to start to stir stuff up. And sometimes the universe has to break your heart in order to break your pattern. And it's trying to show you right now that the love that you give so freely to other people desperately needs to come back to you. And it would never break your heart unless it knew that your soul was strong enough to fix it. So that is your confirmation that you're going to be just fine. And as someone who has been through it and come out the other side, trust me when I say that it is not rejection, it is redirection. It is the universe saying to you that this is the start of your most epic chapter yet. And honestly, deep down, I think you already know that. So take your power back and remind yourself that you are not losing, you are not falling behind, you are aligning. You are actively making space for the love and the life that you truly deserve. Trust that this is a pivotal moment. A pivotal moment where later down the line, you're going to look back on with so much gratitude. And if the universe is telling you that you deserve more, I think you should probably start believing that too. Keep going, and I love you.
If you pay attention, the story always comes from the angle that they were the ones who ended the relationship. You rarely see a woman admit that she was the one who got left. In the narrative, she's always the one walking away from the bad man. What I will tell you is this: the best revenge is always self-improvement. Once the relationship is over, no contact, working on your finances, and getting your life in order should be your top priorities. This is crucial, no matter how long the relationship lasted. Because if you consistently invest in yourself, within a matter of months you'll see the greatest returns. Trust me, you'll get over that person much faster than you think.
Let's talk about how to get through the most painful breakup of your life. We all have that one breakup that is so unbearably painful, it literally feels like you're not gonna survive. From the bottom of my heart, I do understand this. I was in a healthy relationship for 6.5 years, literally grew up with his whole family, lived with him, the whole 9 yards. I knew that I was gonna have to be the one to end it, but the thought of ending it literally made me wanna throw up and feel like I was gonna have to go to a mental hospital. But here we are now, 2.5 years post breakup, and I'm doing better than ever. Let me help you guys. Right when the breakup initially happened, this is survival mode. This is when you need to call your support system and get their asses over to your house. Sometimes you need people to lift you back up, and that's what your support system is there to do for you. You need to remind yourself that you're literally biologically in shock right now, and your thoughts are gonna be going insane. During this initial week, you need to literally cry and grieve as if it's a death. One thing that's so random that actually helped me so much was getting a pregnancy pillow, because a pregnancy pillow wraps around your body like a human and you can just cuddle it. After the 1 week mark, we kind of need to clear our history. So what we need to do is mute them on social media so we don't see their name popping up, and try to do the swap clothing and items as soon as possible. I truly think serious breakups are most successful when they're no contact or borderline no contact, just because if you're constantly getting reached out to by this person, it's just gonna remind you of them constantly. After about a week and a half or two, this is when we're gonna start to lock in. You are gonna form a daily routine for your life that you are happy with, because your daily routine used to consist of your ex. So we're gonna need to pivot. Breakups are the best motivation for self-growth, so we're gonna utilize this time to become the hottest, most successful version of ourselves, whether that's getting in the gym, starting that new career you wanted, whatever it is. By week 2, we're gonna start progressing towards that. You need to start going outside and doing things to boost your serotonin naturally. Now, one of the most important parts for me was getting something in the pipeline that excited me. When you have something to look forward to and genuinely makes you happy, it's such a game changer. Whether it's traveling, a festival, an event, whatever it is, get it in the pipeline so that you can work towards that. I'm telling you, the more you focus on you and do things that are gonna better your mental health, the way closer you are gonna be to getting over this man. The more you're partying and hooking up with people and just doing things to numb the pain, the farther you are from your finish line. Breakups are literally the hardest thing ever. But I'm telling you, you will get through this. And honestly, just like binge scroll my videos and I hope they help. Anyways, this is the final look. I love you guys.
Oh, hell no!
What was her advice, really? Walk away from it all. As a man, I've always believed that you should never be with a woman who doesn't want to be with you. Having a woman who is genuinely in love with you is one of the best things that can happen in life. That's why I've always dated women who like me more than I like them. Because the treatment is completely different when a woman truly desires you, when she sees you as the best man she can have. Trust me, men, they treat you like a king. So if a woman ever tells you she wants to leave, open the door and let her go. Don't beg. Don't chase. Don't negotiate. That woman is standing in the way of you finding the one who is truly meant for you.
Beginning of this year, I made the incredibly difficult decision to end my 7-year relationship with someone who is a great person and who I have nothing but great things to say, but I just knew we were not aligned to last long term. And the realization that I knew we needed to end things, that in and of itself was probably one of the hardest things I've ever experienced in my entire life, let alone the actual conversations leading up to the breakup and the actual breakup conversation. Like, that was excruciating. I went through this experience. There were very few people in my life who had gone through a breakup similar to this one, where the person that they're with is a really good person. These are 5 things that I wish I knew before ending that relationship, in hopes that this will help one of you who's in the same spot. Number 1, even though I was the one who ended things and I grieved a lot of the relationship while I was still in the relationship, the actual process was not at all without pain. For the first, I want to say at least a week, I was barely sleeping, barely eating, and every single time I would go to sleep or wake up, I would cry. Guilt that came with ending a relationship with someone who is such a good person really is what ate at me, and honestly continues to eat at me from time to time. Number two, I knew and I know that I made the right decision, and despite being really sad, I also felt a lot lighter because the weight that I was carrying from the analysis paralysis being in that relationship was gone. That said, there's still times where I miss parts of myself and parts of that relationship, and that is very normal. That doesn't mean you made the wrong decision. Number three, I had to be very, very disciplined with myself right after the breakup. I knew the healthiest thing for both of us to heal would be to go completely no contact. And so even though I wanted to text him and check in and see how he was doing and say that I miss him, I didn't. And I haven't talked to him since. And that has really helped me heal. And I hope it's helped him too. Number four, my best friend, Sophie, was literally my lifeline during this process. She had gone through kind of a similar breakup situation, and I was texting her constantly, just like telling her how I'm feeling and like checking in to see if what I was feeling was normal. And so if you're going to end things with someone you are very serious with, you need that support system. Lastly, number five, old patterns will repeat themselves if you have not fully healed from your last relationship and if you have gotten crystal clear on what you want and deserve in your next relationship.
7 years. And she leaves him, crying, suffering, unable to sleep, unable to eat. So why did she do it? The usual answer: we just weren't meant to last. Translation: she believed she deserved something better. And here's the pattern that repeats itself throughout every story in this episode. They're always the ones ending the relationship, always following the same script. He was a good man, but something was missing. And that something is almost never something they can clearly define. The man, on the other hand, endures. He tries. He sacrifices. He does everything he can to fix what's falling apart. That's how we're wired. But gentlemen, that's where the mistake is. Sacrificing yourself for a woman who isn't sure about you is a losing investment. Your first responsibility is your own life, your body, your finances, your mission. That's the foundation. Because a man whose life is in order doesn't need to hold on to anyone. He attracts. And the woman who's truly worth keeping doesn't jump ship the moment the waters get rough. She stays and grabs the wheel with you. The rest can swim. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, we'd like to leave you with a couple of questions. How long did it take you to get over the last woman who left you? Do you think a woman who ends a relationship that lasted for years truly suffers afterward, or is it just part of the script? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Your support means a lot to us and motivates us to keep creating more content. Don't miss the next video.